is the first day of the Utah legislature. The session started this morning. It'll last for 45 days, ending on March 1st. We're checking in with ABC4's Brian McElhatton. He joins us live from the Utah State Capitol with more on opening day. Now, Brian's talking with Utah lawmakers about the session and what we can expect as they consider nearly 400 bills addressing key issues in our state. Brian, seems like a bit of a busy day. What's the latest?
You know, it's a little bit of a busy day. I think that's an understatement, Sarah. Many of the lawmakers here very early this morning getting ready to gavel in. They have since gavelled in. They're already discussing bills. You mentioned it. 400 bills they have to sort through in just 45 days. What a monumental amount of work. We've seen people here in the beautiful state capitol today walking around with signs. We've seen teachers here rallying for causes they care about in the classroom. This sort of a public discourse here adds to the character of the Capitol building as the legislature gets to work now. Now, a couple of bills we're talking about now at the top of our 6 o'clock news has to do with the Olympics. And I want to bring in Representative Jon Hawkins, who is pushing these bills through. Good for you to be with us. We appreciate it, sir.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate being here.
Okay, so let's talk Olympics. We're 10 years out. We've got time to plan, but you've got to start planning now. So what are you hoping to do with this legislation that you're bringing to the Capitol now?
Yeah, so this legislation is a follow-on to a piece of legislation that I ran last year. We created an Olympic coordinating committee with the legislature to just kind of keep track of what the organizing committee is doing and making sure that we're on board with what they're doing and they're communicating with us. So this piece of legislation actually adds a little bit to that in that it brings the funding that we've given to the Olympic Legacy Foundation to oversight by this same committee that we created last year. To make sure that the funds are handled appropriately and it's taxpayer funds, right? And so, but they're for the venues that we've already created and that are well loved by the community, right? So we need to bolster them a little bit for the next Olympics. So we're just making sure that that's continuing to be the case.
Utah, in Salt Lake in particular, is in a unique position because here the Olympics come back again, right, a second time. You have the venues already here from the first time. They are being used actively. So you've got that infrastructure already in place, right? Do you have any concerns about the Olympics and preparing for those?
I personally don't have any concerns. I think there's a lot of excitement. I would say my biggest concern is continuing that excitement for 10 years. A decade is a long time, but the team that we have putting together the committee and the organizing bid, they're phenomenal people. They have the best interests of Utah at heart. And they're doing a great job with the Olympic Committee, both on the national and international level, trying to bring what we offer, the best of Utah, to the international stage.
Sure. Now, of course, there are some issues here that will be on the national stage or the international stage when the Olympics come. We've got air pollution, right? We've got a lot of sprawl here. How do you see those impacting the Olympics and in the global perception of Utah? Again, 10 years from now, we've got some time, but still, no doubt, we'll still be dealing with inversion, with air pollution then. That's not going to look great on global cameras.
Well, I think, if we look at science and the way that it's progressed over the last, 30 years or so, we're seeing less and less actual of the nasty pollution that's here in Utah. Now, we live in a valley. The dirty air gets trapped. It's not all of our own making, but it does get trapped here along the Wasatch Front. And we're doing everything that we can as a legislature to make sure that we can tackle those tough environmental air quality problems that we see in the state. I, for one, I'm impacted by those. And so I want it to be clean air all the time as much as possible. But as a legislature, we've got some really good ideas coming together each year to make air quality better and better.
Okay. Representative Hawkins, I appreciate your time. Thank you very much. We'll be following along. Good luck this session. We certainly appreciate it. There you have it, 400 bills, 45 days to sort through it all. You just heard a little bit about one of those bills making their way through the legislature right now. Sarah, so much more to come from the state capitol this evening, but for now, I will send it back to you.